Imagine stepping into the great hall under dozens of floating candles, the portraits whispering in the shadows, and feeling that rush of wonder as the enchanted ceiling mirrors the night sky above you. For 2 decades, millions of fans carried that same feeling with them from page to screen and back again. They believed they knew every nook of Hogwarts Castle, every line of every spell, every hidden meaning wrapped in J.K. Rowling's carefully woven tapestry. Yet after years of dissecting every frame and rereading every chapter, a handful of secrets remained invisible to even the most devoted Potterheads. Today, the original cast finally unveils revelations so subtle and surprising that you'll swear you're seeing your favorite moments for the very first time. Daniel Radcliffe, who grew from a fresh-faced 11-year-old into an international icon, recently shared that one of Harry's most recognizable tics, pushing his round glasses back up the bridge of his nose, was never in the script. On the set of the first film, the layered costume felt like a furnace under those relentless studio lights. His glasses were constantly slipping. Rather than halting every take, Daniel instinctively pushed them into position, and directors soon recognized the gesture as pure gold. That tiny flick became Harry's unspoken signature, a subtle blend of vulnerability and determination born entirely from necessity. Each time Harry adjusts his glasses in the films, you're witnessing a trace of improvisation that bonded star and character in a way no one anticipated. Rupert Grint, our earnest and eternally loyal Ron Weasley, confessed that many of the character's most endearing lines weren't in the original screenplay. His trademark nervous giggle initially surfaced in a blooper reel. Alfonso Cuarón, known for encouraging authenticity, heard Rupert's unscripted laughter and urged him to keep it whenever Ron felt overwhelmed. That quavering chuckle now reminds us that under Ron's clownish bravado lives a heart full of loyalty and courage. Those subtle quakes in his voice, the quick intake of breath before he dives headlong into danger, were born from Rupert's willingness to share his own nerves with the camera. Emma Watson, whose intelligence illuminated every frame, revealed a confession that elevates one iconic scene to new heights. In the library sequence where she slams her massive wizarding tome down in frustration, that slam wasn't in the shot list. Emma had spent countless nights learning lines, mastering pronunciations, and rehearsing Hermione's relentless pursuit of knowledge. Exhausted after a marathon session, she delivered the slam in genuine annoyance, and it was so perfect that the director held the take. Now, knowing that spark of real fatigue lurks behind Hermione's glare, you can't help but feel the full force of her passion and frustration. Alan Rickman's portrayal of Severus Snape has always felt steeped in layers of mystery and melancholy, but until now we didn't know the full depth of his preparation. J.K. Rowling invited him to a private meeting before filming began, entrusting him with Snape's entire arc, from secret love to ultimate sacrifice, long before the public ever learned the truth. Alan carried that knowledge silently, infusing every line with quiet longing or barely contained pain. When he hisses, "Turn to page 394," or delivers a curt nod, it carries the weight of decades of unspoken emotions. Today, fans rewatching those moments can finally sense the subtle heartbeat of compassion beating just beneath Snape's cold exterior. Helena Bonham Carter once admitted that her tears in Order of the Phoenix weren't purely special effects. She was coping with personal loss at the time of shooting, and in a scene meant to capture Bellatrix's warped devotion, she let genuine sorrow flow. Those tears glistened not because of movie magic, but because Helena allowed real emotion to surface. In retrospect, seeing Bellatrix's mania intertwined with authentic grief hints at a depth of character we never knew lay hidden beneath her wild eyes. Katie Leung, who portrayed Cho Chang, offered her own whispered revelation. That hesitant shrug as she first encounters Harry in the hallway was an improvisation to cover a flubbed line. Instead of reshooting, the director kept that mini gesture, and it evolved into Cho's signature blend of shyness and guarded curiosity. Those seconds of hesitation now resonate as a perfectly human moment of teenage uncertainty. Even the vast sets of Hogwarts hide concealed details only the cast noticed. In the Gryffindor common room, the art department subtly rearranged a tapestry between seasons. It's a shift so slight that only eagle-eyed crew members knew they were signaling the school's fall and winter cycles. Rows of books on the library shelves were a mix of genuine antique tomes and custom-burnished props, each chosen to reflect Hermione's growing knowledge, her shelves becoming more cluttered as she delved deeper into dangerous mysteries. This is just the beginning. The story of Harry Potter's creation is a mosaic of intentional brilliance and inspired improvisation. It's where Rowling's masterful plotting meets the cast's real-world resourcefulness. Prepare to uncover secrets that rewrite your memories of these beloved scenes. The magic you thought you understood still has surprises tucked into every corner, a testament to the collaboration that made this saga more than a story. It became an immersive world we all inhabited together as the saga expanded on a film. Every flicker of candlelight and dusty stone corridor became an invitation to fans worldwide, beckoning them deeper into Hogwarts than ever before. Yet few realized that directors purposely manipulated light and shadow to mirror the characters' emotional journeys. Chris Columbus favored warm, inviting hues to emphasize childhood wonder, while Alfonso Cuarón introduced cooler, grayer palettes to signal teenage rebellion and disillusionment. By the time David Yates took the helm, the saturated colors gave way to stark realism, reflecting a world on the brink of war. This subtle chromatic storytelling played out in every corridor, from the golden glow of the Gryffindor common room to the icy blues of the Ministry's interrogation chambers, guiding the audience from innocence to peril without a single spoken line. Behind these visual secrets lay countless production choices that only the cast fully appreciated. Tom Felton, who portrays Draco Malfoy, once confessed that his character's luxurious robes were reinterpreted season by season to match his inner transformation. In early films, his robes gleamed pristine silver, symbolizing privilege and entitlement. But by the final installments, the once polished fabric showed wear and tear, a quiet nod to Draco's growing disillusionment and internal conflict. It was a detail so subtle that only the cast noticed, yet it deepened every scene in which Malfoy wrestled with his loyalties. Quiet sacrifices also occurred off-camera, where stunt doubles risked life and limb to bring magic to life. David Holmes, Daniel Radcliffe's trusted double, spent years leaping between platforms, tumbling down stairs, and testing the boundaries of practical effects. His near-fatal injury during a flying sequence in Deathly Hallows remains one of the darkest untold stories. A misjudged harness could have been life-ending, yet the filmmakers masked the drama so convincingly that audiences saw nothing but seamless illusion. When the narrative demanded Harry's world to spin, it was David's courage hidden behind the curtain of movie magic. Even the soundscape of Hogwarts carries concealed tales. Sound editors layered ambient whispers beneath dialogue tracks, using recordings from empty cathedrals and historic libraries to evoke ancient authority. Robbie Coltrane, who played Hagrid, described hearing ghostly echoes of unseen students as he delivered lines. It was only later that he learned those echoes were overdubbed to simulate the castle's living heartbeat. Those faint, distant shouts and shuffling feet weren't extras. They were sonic Easter eggs designed to pull you into the world's depths. Tales of improvisation extended even to the Academy Award-nominated performances. Emma Thompson's brief appearance as Professor Trelawney was shaped in the editing suite, where her monologues were stitched together from different takes to amplify the prophecy's urgency. That haunting prophecy scene, as foreboding drums pulsed beneath her chant, was never captured fully in a single take. It emerged from the meticulous assembly of Thompson's most chilling moments. This patchwork of suspense became one of the series' most unforgettable set pieces. The smallest props also held private meanings. Mark Williams, the actor behind Arthur Weasley, pointed out that the Weasley family's mismatched dishes were authentic antiques scavenged from flea markets. Each chipped cup or crooked plate carried a story. The tea set with a missing saucer had once belonged to a collector who nearly sold it for a fortune. The teapot with a fractured spout was passed down through 3 generations of British apothecaries. The production team sourced these items specifically to reflect the Weasleys' modest means and enduring warmth. Details that never made it into the guidebooks, but grounded their world in lived reality. Beyond items and imagery, foundational thematic choices were influenced by cast insights. Matthew Lewis, who became Neville Longbottom, once shared how his character's pet toad, Trevor, was nearly eliminated from early scripts. Cast and crew fought to restore Trevor as a symbol of Neville's loyalty and growth. That humble amphibian appears only sparingly on screen, but its presence signals Neville's quiet resilience, an arc that parallels the epic narrative more subtly than wands, spells, or battles. Meanwhile, interviews with set designers revealed that the Sorting Hat's patched leather and frayed edges were intentionally distressed to suggest centuries of counsel, advice, and whispered secrets. Hand-tooled spells were stamped around its rim in ancient runes, visible only on close inspection. Production artisans labored on tiny stitch patterns and embossed lettering that only the most dedicated Potterheads would catch, rewarding their devotion with hidden layers woven into the film's fabric. In private conversations, several actors confessed that they never fully understood certain lines until J.K. Rowling clarified them years later. Michael Gambon, who portrayed Albus Dumbledore after Richard Harris's passing, recounted playing scenes blind to later revelations about Harry's destiny. His paternal warmth and gentle humor carried double meanings once he learned of the burdens Dumbledore secretly bore. Each counsel-laden glance and cryptic smile acquired fresh resonance in hindsight, transforming casual mentorship into profound sacrifice. As these candid cast accounts emerge, the tapestry we thought we knew expands in unexpected directions. Every light shift, worn costume, background chatter, and whispered secret matters more when you know it was chosen for purpose. The magic on screen never ceased to amaze, but now we see that a different kind of enchantment occurred behind the scenes, one woven by hundreds of creative souls dedicating themselves to a singular vision. Few fans realized that every camera angle, swapped prop, and improvised line contributed to the narrative's emotional architecture, layering meaning upon meaning until each scene felt effortless. Now that you've glimpsed the unseen artistry behind the Potter films, imagine which corners of Hogwarts you'll revisit with fresh eyes. What hallway shadows will feel more ominous? Which friendships will resonate with new poignancy? Section 3 will unearth the cast's most personal memories, moments of joy, fear, and camaraderie that never made the final cut. Prepare for surprises that honor the spirit of collaboration and remind us why this world captured our hearts in the first place. Every cast member carried more than lines and wand work on a set. They bore personal memories that only surfaced years later in hushed interviews. Daniel Radcliffe vividly recalls his first glimpse of Hogwarts on arrival day, standing before the castle facade, his breath catching as if he genuinely stepped into another world. He remembers the heady mixture of adrenaline and nerves as he donned Harry's robes for the very first time. That moment was so surreal that Daniel admits he nearly forgot the scripted greeting and simply stared at the crew, his voice caught between awe and uncertainty. He later joked that Alan Rickman's quiet encouragement backstage, steadying his arm before the first take, grounded him like a seasoned performer. Today, Daniel treasures memories of late-night conversations with Rupert and Emma, trading jokes and pizza slices between marathon shoots, forging friendships as real as any on screen. Rupert Grint describes one afternoon when he and Daniel improvised a prank involving a fake spell that turned a prop cauldron into a foul-smelling stew. The stench filled the Great Hall set, interrupting multiple scenes until a crew member sniffed out the source. Rupert still laughs, recalling the flustered expressions on cast and crew alike. He says those playful moments broke the relentless pressure of tight schedules, reminding everyone that laughter can feel as magical as any wand flick. Emma Watson treasures her time filming Hermione's time-turner scenes in Prisoner of Azkaban. Crews reran the sequence until every mirrored movement aligned perfectly, sometimes requiring 15 takes. By the end of the day, Emma's feet ached and her thoughts blurred with each reset. As exhaustion set in, director Alfonso Cuarón asked her to maintain Hermione's frustration. Emma remembers channeling every ounce of fatigue into a single tremor of her hand, producing a take so authentic it became the final cut. She describes walking off set that evening drenched in sweat, grinning because she felt she had truly embodied Hermione's relentless spirit. Helena Bonham Carter recounts a lighter story of her first ride upon the Hogwarts Express set. Built 90% to scale, the train rattled along tracks at only a few miles per hour, but its movement proved disorienting. Helena admits she clung to a seat strap so fiercely that co-stars teased her during lunch. She later confessed that those mishaps informed Bellatrix's unpredictable energy, her manic laughter on screen partly born from the train's unexpected jolts. Robbie Coltrane often breaks character between takes by sharing jokes gleaned from his Scottish childhood. He recalls teaching Daniel and Rupert how to perform an authentic Highland jig during a break in Order of the Phoenix. Those impromptu dance lessons not only lightened moods, but became a cherished memory of cross-generational camaraderie. Tom Felton reflects on the final moments filming Malfoy Manor. On the last day, the cast gathered to watch each other's farewell shots. Helena slipped a note into Tom's pocket backstage. "Let none steal our good lives." He unfurled it mid-scene, keeping a straight face even as his heart swelled. It was a private tribute to their 10-year journey, unseen by audiences but forever etched in his memory. Matthew Lewis remembers Neville's climactic stand against Voldemort. He describes the gusts of artificial wind and swirling smoke that nearly blinded him. Yet he delivered his lines through tears of exhaustion and triumph. He later learned that many of those takes nearly didn't reach the screen. Crew debated cutting the emotional rawness for pacing. Only after cast appeals did directors relent, recognizing the power of Neville's resolve. Mark Williams shares his own uncut moments. Filming at the Weasley kitchen, he improvised a line about missing the point of Muggle technology when his prop radio crackled to life unexpectedly. The surprise laugh became part of Arthur Weasley's warm bewilderment, adding authenticity to every scene set in his workshop. Daniel's stunt double, David Holmes, left the set in silence after his accident. In private backstage circles, cast and crew held vigils and prayer sessions while filmmakers paused shooting. When David returned months later to film additional sequences seated in a wheelchair, Daniel recalled falling to his knees at the hospital set trailer entrance, tears mingling relief and guilt. That reunion stayed behind closed doors, hidden from fans without a trace. The enchantment of the wizarding world blossomed onto the silver screen. Countless details were woven into every frame to reward observant fans. Take, for example, the seemingly innocuous classroom lessons in Transfiguration. The blackboards were scrawled with faint references to Latin roots connecting each spell to ancient mythology. During production, Paul Harris, the chief prop master, secretly added those annotations to honor children's curiosity and to hint at Rowling's deeper world building. Only now do we know that those inscriptions on the slate correspond exactly to passages found in the unpublished Hogwarts Compendium, a collection of stories Rowling shared privately with close collaborators. That hidden cross-reference transforms a dusty chalkboard into an invitation to explore layered histories. Through these subtleties, the filmmakers extended Rowling's map-like design from page to screen, ensuring persistent magic in every corner. Even the costumes themselves hold secret narratives. While most viewers admired the rich textures of the faculty robes, few recognized the embroideries chosen for each professor. During rap weeks, the actors discovered that subtle motifs stitched into their collars represented their magical specialties. When Professor McGonagall's tartan patterns were sewn from a fabric reminiscent of her Scottish heritage, Maggie Smith winked knowingly at the seamstress's homage. Likewise, Snape's deep charcoal fabrics feature faint sigils concealed within the weave, a silent tribute to his mastery of the dark arts. These nearly invisible emblems create layers of characterization that extend far beyond dialogue or visible symbols. One of the most ingenious camera tricks occurs in the final battle scenes, where the camera seems to float through the corridors without visible support. Cinematographers used a combination of remote-operated rigs and handheld digital stabilizers, but cast members reveal an additional layer: hidden tracks drilled slightly beneath the stone surfaces. During night shoots, Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson practiced their positions meticulously, knowing the slightest misstep could misalign the rails and ruin an expensive shot. Crew members whisper that a miscalculation on one October evening nearly halted production for days until a makeshift dolly solution was engineered on the spot. In one surprising twist, the on-screen fireworks during the Yule Ball were not entirely computer-generated. Special effects supervisor Nicholas Hooper arranged for pyrotechnic artists to fire microcharges behind the castle walls, capturing bursts of color on remote cameras. The cast was kept at a safe distance until the final countdown, but Emma Watson later joked that the lingering copper scent of gunpowder seemed to cling to her gown throughout the evening. That authentic residue adds an ineffable realism to the sequence, marrying the practical and digital worlds in a way only a few seasoned filmmakers could achieve. Perhaps the most enchanting audio trivia arises during the final confrontation in the Forbidden Forest. When Harry speaks Parseltongue to the giant snake, the guttural hisses were recorded by voice artist Mark Samuel, but the deeper tonal shifts came from experimental pitch modulation inspired by ancient ritual chants. Foley artists then layered in sounds of leaves rustling and distant owl hoots, creating a symphony of nature intertwined with snake language. Daniel Radcliffe had to rehearse in a makeshift vocal booth, learning precise cadences to deliver lines that sounded convincing yet otherworldly. Few viewers knew that each Parseltongue take consumed nearly twice the screen time in post-production, as editors meticulously aligned spoken words with snake mouth movements and ambient soundscapes. Even musical cues hide purposeful intent. Composer John Williams recorded the iconic Hedwig's theme with a London Symphony Orchestra, but many fans don't realize the original demo used a solo oboe to convey Harry's vulnerability, replaced later by a full flute section to reflect his growing confidence. In a private recording session, Emma Thompson was invited to listen to early cuts and shared how the unadorned oboe notes brought her to tears during Professor Trelawney's teacup reading scene. In its final form, the orchestration subtly shifts between celesta, harp, and soaring strings, mirroring each character's arc as they evolve from innocence to resilience. By weaving these sonic threads through every chapter of the saga, the score itself becomes an unsung storyteller, rewarding repeat listens with emotional revelations hidden within each swelling chord. These hidden layers underscore how every element combines to shape the narrative's heartbeat and ensure Potter's magic endures across generations. Even the editing suite holds secrets that only emerged when the cast revisited their scenes years later. In the Potter films, entire minutes of footage were shot for key moments, like Harry's first broomstick ride or Hermione's snapping comeback at Malfoy, that never reached the final cut. Editors deliberately chose tighter angles and faster crosscuts to heighten tension, leaving out prolonged reactions or awkward silences that would have slowed the pace. But in private screenings, Daniel Radcliffe confided that he preferred the longer takes. He believed viewers would have cherished seeing every flicker of emotion on Harry's face. When a deluxe anniversary edition was discussed, Warner Brothers discovered raw footage of dozens of these extended shots, each a hidden trove of character insight that fans could finally savor on a future special release. Promotional materials concealed their own Easter eggs, hidden in plain view for those with keen eyes. Early teaser posters for Sorcerer's Stone included a barely visible shape in the clouds hinting at Voldemort's spectral form, removed from later prints to prevent spoilers. Similarly, the Prisoner of Azkaban trailer dropped microclips of the Grim, a wolf-shaped omen, foreshadowing the night creature without giving away the plot twist. Actress Emma Watson recalled the excitement when fans spotted those wolfish silhouettes online, igniting debates long before the film's debut. Even the font choice for house mottos in Parvati Patil's Gryffindor crest revealed a subtle rune pattern matching the Marauders' map trails, delighting hardcore devotees who paused frames to decode that hidden path. On set, background actors became discreet collaborators in world building. During the Yule Ball sequence in Goblet of Fire, extras clad in winter finery were instructed to dance with intentionally offbeat rhythms choreographed by set coordinators. That slight awkwardness mirrored the teenagers' first foray into formal dancing, an authentic adolescent discomfort most viewers never consciously register. Katie Leung, who played Cho Chang, later explained that those dancers were handpicked for their genuine hesitancy, reinforcing the narrative's emotional undercurrent. And in Deathly Hallows, a handful of Hogwarts students donning mismatched scarves and homemade signs were actual university drama students auditioning for future roles. Their fleeting glimpses and crowd shots serve as a nod to the countless young performers quietly shaping Hogwarts' communal life. J.K. Rowling's fingerprints appear in more places than fans know. Script pages given to the cast often carried her handwritten annotations, tiny arrows next to dialogue, clarifying emotional beats she felt critical for authenticity. Alan Rickman once discovered a post it stuck to his call sheet prompting. Remember, speak this line like you're whispering a confession, not a command. Helena Bonham Carter found margin scribbles next to Bellatrix's tirade, suggesting variations on key phrases to capture her twisted devotion more vividly. These personal notes remained invisible to audiences but left permanent imprints on performances. When script supervisor scripts were archived, they revealed dozens of scenes rewritten overnight to align with Rowling's evolving vision, proof that the story continued to grow even after production began. Test screening reports quietly reshaped major sequences. In one early cut of Chamber of Secrets, Ginny Weasley's timid panic in the chamber was considered too subtle. Focus groups reported confusion over how she ended up locked away. The filmmakers responded by adding a brief flashback of the diary's tormenting voice, clarifying her entrapment. Similarly, during Sorcerer's Stone previews, the Mirror of Eris scene lingered so long that some viewers felt unsettled rather than uplifted, leading editors to trim it and punctuate Harry's turning away with a sharper cut. Rupert Grint authenticated these decisions, admitting in a reunion panel that the changes, though invisible in the final product, saved the films from pacing pitfalls and kept audiences emotionally aligned. As we piece together these hidden threads, from deleted footage and smuggled annotations to marketing riddles and test-screened edits, we begin to see the Potter films not just as adaptations, but as living works of art. Each choice, whether made in a cathedral quiet editing room or scrawled hastily in the margins of a script page, served the grander tapestry of a story millions revere. In our final section, we'll reveal the cast's most unexpected secrets, confessions that redefine iconic lines, revelations about how personal challenges shaped their performances, and a cast-wide tribute hidden in the final credits. These are the ultimate behind-the-scenes gifts for fans brave enough to uncover them. Perhaps the most jaw-dropping confession arrived from Daniel Radcliffe, who revealed that one of Harry's most iconic lines was almost entirely improvised on the spot. In the climactic Chamber of Secrets encounter, he was scripted simply to shout, "Come on," as the basilisk lunged, but in a split second, Daniel found himself whispering, "Not today, not like this," a phrase that perfectly captured Harry's defiance. The director loved it so much that every subsequent take hinged on that voice-cracking delivery. Only years later did fans learn that those whispered words emerged from Daniel's own fear of letting down a 10-year journey. Each syllable became a bridge between actor and role, transforming a throwaway line into a defining moment of resilience. Emma Watson shared a similarly intimate revelation about her final scene in Deathly Hallows Part 2. The tearful farewell in the astronomy tower was scripted with Hermione declaring, "We'll find a way," yet Emma admitted she naturally stumbled over the words, merging them into a single breathless phrase, "We'll always find each other." The editors embraced that unscripted hesitation, linking the characters' bond more powerfully than any rehearsed take could have done. In private, Emma described how she momentarily forgot Hermione's scripted resolve, channeling instead the raw grief she felt bidding goodbye to friends and mentors she'd known for years. That fleeting crackling of voice now anchors the scene's emotional core. Rupert Grint revealed a hidden layer of complexity behind Ron's famous, "Why is it always me?" line in the Frozen Forest. He explained that he repeated the line dozens of times, each with a different inflection, from frustration to despair to raw confusion, before a crafty editor stitched multiple performances together. Rupert confessed he drew on childhood experiences of being the youngest sibling overshadowed by older brothers, tapping into genuine feelings of injustice. When audiences first heard Ron's anguished cry, they sensed authenticity without knowing why. In truth, that line became a tapestry of Rupert's personal history, merging real vulnerability with Ron's fictional struggles in one unforgettably human moment. Alan Rickman's posthumous insight into Snape's last words stunned the fandom. Although negotiations prevented him from filming an additional take, J.K. Rowling secretly provided Alan with an alternate scripted ending delivered in the audio commentary of a special edition release. Those words, "always," were never uttered on screen but carried so much weight that fans assumed they echoed from Snape's heart. In private correspondence, Rowling credited Allen's subtle inflection choices in earlier films as the inspiration for that word. When viewers whisper, always, they connect with a tribute Allen fashioned through tiny pauses and lingering glances, weaving poetry out of Snape's steadfast loyalty long after his final shot. Bellatrix Lestrange actress Helena Bonham Carter disclosed that one of her most chilling laughs in Azkaban wasn't prearranged. During filming, she accidentally stepped on a discarded wand prop, sending it skittering across the floorboards. The sharp crack underfoot startled her, and she responded with a shriek that merged into maniacal laughter. The crew erupted, and the director immediately called cut, but when he saw Helena's eyes blazing with real surprise, he insisted on keeping the take. That accidental sound remains in the final scene, giving Bellatrix's madness an edge of raw unpredictability that few noticed on first viewing, but now recognize as pure cinematic serendipity. In the exclusive revelation of a collective tribute, Tom Felton disclosed that, just before filming the closing moments of the final credits, the entire cast gathered in costume for a silent salute to fans. Hidden from audience view, they formed a circle in the empty Great Hall set, each holding a single lit candle. The filmmakers captured this homage on a backup camera, intending it as an internal keepsake. According to Tom, when the movie premiered at midnight, that footage was spliced into a single frame of the official credits, so brief that it's nearly imperceptible unless you pause at precisely the right moment. The moment meant to bind cast and fans in shared remembrance whispers, "Thank you," across the decades. A gesture of gratitude too subtle for the untrained eye, but echoing profoundly in the hearts of those who know to look. These final revelations reshape our understanding of Harry Potter's legacy. What felt like scripted perfection was often woven from spontaneous truth. Each improvised line, every crack in an actor's voice, personal fears channeled into fictional battles, and the cast's hidden unity all deepened the saga beyond the page. The magic never resided solely in special effects or grand set pieces. It thrived in human authenticity. As the candles flicker in that ghostly credit frame and Bellatrix's laugh still rings with genuine surprise, fans realize they've only just scratched the surface of a story built on both literary genius and real-world courage. The characters we love exist because actors dared to infuse them with themselves, revealing that the truest enchantment lies in vulnerability shared between storytellers and audiences alike.